My fellow Americans, our long national nightmare is over.
Our long national nightmare is over. Disney and YouTube TV have agreed on a new deal so we can watch ESPN and ABC again. Thanks to our 30th president, Gerald Ford, for kicking us off today. Welcome to the Bison Overtime Show, everybody. I'm Grant Hubbard alongside Ethan Eibach, undefeated Missouri Valley Football Conference champs. How good does that sound?
It feels pretty good to watch a team that's playing so well. I mean, they haven't been undefeated since 2019 in the regular season. They have a chance to finish the job this week.
Little self-promo for us. Follow us on X at the Bison Overtime Show for more content from us. Follower content, 174. Thank you. 6 followers just today on Wednesday, so we appreciate your service. Also, watch 2 Cents with Hallie and Charlotte. They'll have a new episode next week, maybe, depending on, they're busy and whatnot, so we'll see when they can do their show. Quick puff piece for me. State champs for the first time since 2014. Way to go, boys. Roll Ronnies. Davies Eagles, 2025 3A state champs. Okay, anyways, moving on. Men's basketball. Let's talk about basketball fast. Men's basketball. They defeated the Book Fair St. Scholastica 111-38. And then real impressive win Monday night against Southern Illinois, 92-85. They faced Jamestown tonight on Wednesday. This team looked, for once, they learned how to offense. They looked pretty good.
Yeah, and Dave Richmond preseason, he said this isn't going to be the three-point shooting team we saw last year. Well, evidently it is.
Yeah.
And the defense is playing really well. Obviously, against the Book Fair, you can't take a lot away defensively, but they were making shots. It doesn't matter who you're playing. They were making shots.
Yeah, 16 three-pointers. Tay Smith got going. I like about Tay Smith. The ball touches his hands, it's going up.
Yes.
There is no indecision. That sucker's going up, and it's going up quick. So they're impressive. They face, again, you hate it when you have to play tier down from you, especially a team like Jamestown is transitioning up to Division II. So we'll be at that game tonight. May not be the best of games, but you have to play games. You have to fill out conference spots. It's just what you have to do. The women, they scared Nebraska for a minute, 82-70 at the Pentagon. They're 2-2. They'll face Tulane on Friday. This is a good basketball team. I mean, Nebraska's probably going to win a lot of games in the Big Ten. They're probably going to make the tournament this year. So they're 2-2, but they've played really well. I mean, they've taken who they've been playing and all that. I'll take a 2-2 record. They have a chance to face a Tulane team that played LSU last week. So we'll see what we get out of the win.
Yeah, it seems like the defense is kind of an issue right now. Again, it's November. Basketball season goes until hopefully into March, but that's something they kind of got to iron out here, and Jory Collins will get it figured out.
All right, before we play the highlights, before we do so, just let's reminisce on some of the – because Northern Iowa, this used to be the rivalry back when these two teams used to play. It all started in 2009. Pat Pashal gets banged out of bounds. The parabolic goes everywhere. There was a fight on the field. That started the rivalry between these two teams, and they've had some legendary games over the years. 2011, the Bison ranked second. UNI was ranked third. The Bison finally got them. They beat them 27-19. The Bison came back from, 14 down to beat UNI in 2013 by a point. UNI finally got them the next year, 23-3 at the Unidome. And then they've played 2 absolutely legendary games in 2015. The 31-28 game in 2015 where Carson finds Darius in the corner of the end zone. And then the playoff game, which was just as good, where Bruce Anderson may have taken the roof off the dome with that kickoff return. But recent years, 16-21, they played a couple of good games. There was a 24-20 Bison win at the Unidome in 2016. There was when they played in the spring where UNI almost beat them. But lately, this has just not been a game that the Bison have had to worry about, which is disappointing.
Yeah, and this rivalry started with that 2010 recruiting class.
Yes.
Because they played close games every year through that stretch. And then when Kleiman took over, Northern Iowa was still good, started to take a little bit of a dive. South Dakota State became the rival, and I would say 2016. Before that, Northern Iowa was the game you circle on your calendar, and Mark Farley was the guy you wanted to beat.
Yeah, Skeletor was definitely fun to beat, but this game was not that. It was NDSU and UNI. Todd Steps is in his first year trying to rebuild the Northern Iowa program. Let's roll the highlights, guys. 10-0 NDSU versus 3-7 Northern Iowa at the Fargo Dome. Rajah Nelson's going to turn the opening kickoff from his own, we'll say 10-yard line. He'll return this kickoff 29 yards to the Bison 38, but the play is called back after a holding call on Jalen Archibald.
Rajah just provides a spark at all times.
Second down and 5 now. First possession of the game. Brika Penna with a cut and a crease before he rips off a 16-yard run to the NDSU 38 for a first down. Stiff arms Joe Hall the third on the way out of bounds. First and 10, Peyton boots left and finds old reliable. There's Bryce Lance down the sideline for 18 yards on a first down.
Good to see him get him involved early on. He hasn't been super involved lately.
3rd and 2. Bison need 2. Barikapenu picks up 5 for a first down to the UNI 31. Now 1st and 10. UNI brings the blitz. Peyton lays it off short to DJ Scott, who rumbles for 17 yards inside the UNI red zone.
I like this. They need to get the running backs more involved in the passing game.
Peyton's going to boot out again here. He will run for 11 yards. Only a shoestring tackle by Tucker Langenberg saves the touchdown. And on 1st and goal, BK is going to have it his way for the 16th time on the year, and the Bison lead early 7-0. That was a 10-play, 83-yard opening march.
I think Barikapenu is entering that conversation. One of the best running back seasons we've seen. Ton of touchdowns this year.
Opening drive for UNI, 3rd and 6. Jackson Daly slings over the middle. Nobody's home, and the Panthers go 3-0 on their first drive, which was to be expected, to be honest. Next drive for NDSU. Peyton's going to swing it out for Barikapenu. Jukes out Calvin Jaworski and picks up 25 yards inside UNI territory.
People forget the running backs can catch the ball, and the Bison took advantage of it there. Everyone focused on Bryce Lance.
3rd and 13. It's 9-5 for 10 yards to the UNI 23, but Lance is 3 yards shy of the first down. So Tim Polasek elects to go for it, and that's going to backfire as Nate Toste gets beat inside and Peyton is sacked by Owen Ostrowski. Turnover on downs. Ostrowski, a transfer from Tulsa, had a Bison offer but chose UNI.
Bad choice.
J.C. Roque Jr. takes the jet sweep and is strung out and is tackled for a loss by Nathaniel Staling for a 7-yard loss.
We heard from Polasek this guy runs better than Grant Olson ever did.
Apparently, Daly is now going to elude Keenan Wilson here, but then gets sacked by Toby Anane. He does get back to the line of scrimmage, so it's no gain.
Yeah, the D-line just dominated in this game. Saw it there.
So 4th and 15, Noah Penninger is called on to punt. Jackson Williams from about his own 32. He's going to return this punt 58 yards. It gets inside UNI territory. That's been Noah Penninger, the punter there, brings him down by the horse collar at the 10-yard line.
He just reminds me so much of Darius Shepard when he runs. Like, not just when he catches the ball, too.
If you blink, you miss this scoring drive. Peyton finds an alley and scores from 5 yards out. It's 14-0 good guys, just a 5-play drive.
Yeah, you're not stopping that guy when he's running downhill.
3rd down and 3. Daly is strip sacked by Toby Anane. Ball is loose on the turf, recovered by J.C. Roque Jr., so UNI is able to jump on the loose change. So the Bison are rolling until Peyton gets sacked in the end zone by Caleb Frazier for a safety. It's 14-2. It's just the second safety allowed by NDSU this year. That's too many, if you ask me.
Yeah, I had the Carson Wentz comparisons last week. You just got to get rid of that.
3rd down and 8. Daly on the QB keeper is stood up by Darius Gibbons after a 3-yard gain. Now Peyton, moving his feet in the pocket, fires one deep. It's 51 yards to Bryce Lance to the UNI 25.
Screw it. 5's down there somewhere, isn't he? Nobody's guarding that guy.
No. Now 1st and 10. Next play, Panthers bring 6. Peyton gets it out quick to Makai Collins for 9 yards to the NDSU 16.
Good to see him back with the injury.
UNI is going to play man-to-man on 1st and 10, and they get burned as Peyton throws his first touchdown in a month to Bryce Lance for a 14-yard score. It's 21-2.
How does number 5 get that open? How do you lose track of him?
Well, crosser gets man coverage. It usually works out pretty well.
Yeah, that's true. Either way, he's probably going to catch it anyway. So
True. So 4th and 8, Panthers punt again, believe it or not.
Shocker.
Jackson Williams at his own 25. He'll return said punt 33 yards to the UNI 41.
Yeah, he's electric. They're going to need this in the playoffs, too. I hope to see him keep taking the ball out.
Panthers blitz again, and Peyton hits the blitz beater to Bryce Lance for 15 yards to the NDSU 6. Or to the UNI 6, I should say. Now 2nd and goal here on the next play. Barikapenu on the stretch. He's going to win this race to the edge for a 5-yard touchdown. It's his 17th score on the season, tying it with Easton Stick, Chris Simdorn, Paul Hatchett, and Rod Malone for the 9th most in a season, 28-2 NDSU.
Yeah, like I said, his historic season continues.
Daly's gets lit up on this pass, and so did Aiden Price as Jaquise Alexander blows him up for no gain.
I tell you what, if there's a most improved award for NDSU this year so far, it's
0
Jaquise Alexander.
right
Having a heck of a year probably the last
So
month.
39 seconds out on 8 seconds. Bison steal 3 before half. Eli Ozick drills a 46-yard field goal, and it's 31-2 Bison at the intermission.
Yeah, Polasek said it on Tuesday. He's getting hot at the right time at kicker.
So 3rd and 8. Daly is going to get hit again here, and Nearly intercepted by Jalen Duffy, but falls incomplete. If only the Guardian cap can make him 6 inches taller. Next Bison drive, the Fargo Ferrari is out of the garage and into the open field for a 46-yard house call. He's outrunning the DBs. That's a 64-yard touchdown run. What a run by Cole Payton.
Dang near ran into me there in the end zone there. He ran directly at me. I was like, there's no way he's going all the way, right?
Oh, yeah, he is.
He's got, if he had a Madden rating, he'd have like 96 speed.
Well, according to NCAA 26, he has 90 speed.
Yeah.
According to Team Builder, anyway. Are you in this shot at all?
I don't. No, I'm not.
No, you're not. That's okay. Daly on the RPO when throws. It's intercepted by Peter Haugo. Ethan, where did he go to school?
Fargo North. Go Spartans.
So the Bison drive, they would get the ball back, celebrations and all, good stuff there. So the Bison would get the ball back. 4th down and 8. Aaron Bickerman called in the service, but his punt is blocked by John Powers and recovered by Ethan Scoville, who burns the Bison for a Panther touchdown. I guess UNI has to score the hard way in this game.
Yeah, it just reminds me of Murray State last year. Just the backups in. It's gonna happen. Not acceptable though, obviously.
So UNI has some momentum. Kickoff to Jackson Williams about a yard deep into the end zone. Jackson looks to answer back, weaves through traffic. Looks like he's going to score here. But great hustle by Isaiah Pinks, number 30. He forces the ball loose, and UNI recovers at the 14-yard line. Hustle plays by UNI.
Yeah, you just got to switch the ball onto your left hand at that point. There's not much to say. You just got to hold on to the ball.
3rd and 7. Daly's pass is complete to Bullet Bill Jackson for 15 yards and a first down. That's not his nickname. It's just what I wanted to call it to be funny.
Probably the first impressive play Northern Iowa had all day on offense. Let's be honest.
Well, if that was impressive, this was not. Daly throws deep on 4th down where Taylon Edey, fair catch called and caught, 1st and 10, North Dakota State.
Yeah, he's coming on as well. You talk about Jaquise Alexander. This is a guy that's might be a newcomer in all conference.
That was Edey's first career interception. 3rd and 5, a lot of backups in for NDSU, and Daly's pass is complete to J.C. Roque Jr. for 23 yards to the Bison 43.
Probably his first good throw of the day.
And next play, Daly on 3rd and 4 is sacked by Zach Vanderpool for a loss of 3.
Another guy who's coming on.
Daly throws an okay pass for J.C. Roque Jr. and a Panther touchdown, 38-16.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. 3 straight slants that they converted, but it is what it is.
For the 8th time in 11 games, Nathan Hayes checks in, and his pass is complete to Reese Kessel, who bounces off tackles for 17 yards to the UNI 37.
He's Noah Gindorf with speed, I'm telling you. This kid's going to be a weapon. Got to use him more.
3rd and 9 here. Hayes going to set up the screen to Owen Johnson, who picks up 31 yards. Johnson finally healthy after a serious knee injury against UND 2 years ago that helped him out. Good for him.
Yeah, good to see him playing again. He's got speed. Not only is it a good story, he's got speed.
Drive stalls. Ozick from 23 yards.
Probably would have been good from 60.
Maybe. 41-60, especially the Alara Center. We may not have seen it. It was that good. 1st and 10 for Daly. He gets pulled over by Zach Vanderpool. Again, a 2-sack day for the redshirt freshman from Byron, Minnesota. Bison fans get used to this. Nathan Hayes, 34-yard touchdown run on the read. This will be your guy in 2026.
Yeah, I don't want to be the comparison guy, but that looked like Easton Stick.
Wait, where's the numbers? So
yeah, I guess not just that, but like he's got tools, man. He's going to be good.
So Polasek and Stepsis shake hands, and the Bison finish conference play unbeaten for the 4th time since they joined the league in 2008. 48-16 was your final.
Yeah, it was good to see some backups get in. Obviously, the block punt, you never want to see that. But overall, a win is a win. You're trying to finish undefeated, and they did that.
All right. Got a message here for Facebook people real quick, just so we're clear. Sloppy end of regular season play, somehow, with this team, always gets cleaned up by the postseason. Amazing how that happens.
Yeah. If you think Twitter's bad, go on Facebook and read the comments.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Brutal. People from probably our age to age, late 30s, are on Twitter. Facebook is a whole nother animal. You're not prepared for it.
Again, I want you to name me more than one playoff game where they looked sloppy, unprepared, the game was choppy. I think you could say, this thing off the top of my head here, you could probably say that against Sam Houston in the quarters in the spring of 2020 if you wanted to, and maybe the start of the Incarnate Word game in 2022. Other than that, name me how many times that they have looked unprepared, undisciplined, and they just weren't ready to go. If this is their choppy performance, they may destroy their playoff competition.
Yes, and like you said, that Incarnate Word game, they came back and they were ready to go after that, which you got to be ready at the beginning. The Sam Houston game, the spring season was a complete joke. Let's just call it as it is. And people will say James Madison. James Madison was the best team in the league that year.
Yeah, I
but
agree with that.
Anyway, this was not a sloppy performance.
No.
I mean, there was some things. Every game can be cleaned up. They won. They won the game by 32.
Who was the one guy in your section in the end zone that you were shooting
Yes,
in? It's just go and tell the story.
He said, "This is the ugliest 20-point win I've ever seen." Well, for one, they were up by 32 when he said that, and two, I mean, how many backups played in this game, and what percentage of the game were they in?
The only sloppy thing that I can think of, is that they didn't cover the spread.
Yeah.
It was the line was 33, it was 32. Damn. All right. Well, now again, there are going to be areas to clean up. Like when they do something wrong, we're going to say something about it. And special teams was not great. The punt was blocked. Jackson Williams with the fumble. He had a pretty up and down. He had a pretty good day for the most part. He had a personal foul they committed in the first half. Not a great play, but again, he's young. He'll learn from it.
Shout out to him. He followed us.
Yeah, appreciate that, Jackson. We appreciate your service. But yeah, I mean, special teams needs to be a little better. But you know what? They'll learn from it. It's okay. Offensive line, according to Tim Polasek at the press conference, I said it to him after the game, and he said, because I was asking him about, is Cole Payton back on track in your mind? He says, yeah, it would have been a great day at the office, but the O-line has to be better. He said that to me, cut me off, and just wanted to talk about the offensive line. And then the safety, of course. I don't know if that's really on the offensive line more, or if it's on Cole more. I don't know about that. But just in your mind, is the fact that they're tinkering 12 weeks in the year, is that a problem?
I don't think it is. I just think that Polasek realizes this team is so talented that they can shuffle around a little bit and experiment. He's getting ready for 2026 already. And obviously they want to steer clear and go win some games here down the stretch, but when have the Bison ever not had a senior on the offensive line?
Never.
And that's the case this year. They don't have a single senior, not one.
It's crazy when you think about that. Everybody's be back next year now.
Yes. Cross your fingers.
The way the portal works these days, who knows if everybody's gonna be back next year? You would hope that Trent Fraley, Griffin Empey, they'll both be back next year.
Yeah,
hope.
I think they will.
I think they will be, but you just don't know in today's age. But anyways, good performance. Was it great? No. But you know what? Going unbeaten in this conference is almost impossible.
Yes.
So to do it again, we'll take it and move on. Again, the game, just breaking down UNI here fast while we're on this subject. 24 first downs to 13. Just look at that rushing total was insane in its own right. 477 total yards. Again, not great on third down, but they didn't have a ton of third down, so it's all right. And then total time possession about evened out. But again, those rushing yards, much better.
You want to know the funny thing is that everyone's been harping on the third down thing all year. Go to Missouri Valley Football Conference stats and look at third down percentage on offense and who's number one.
Right.
The Bison. They haven't dominated it, but they've been better than everybody else, and that's what it takes to win.
Yeah. Again, going to the top performers too. I mean, we have a little bit of offense and defense in this one. Cole Payton. Is he back in the Payton conversation? I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But he had a pretty good day at the office with the offensive line changes. 15 of 17, 212 through the air, one touchdown, first passing touchdown since he threw into Wermeyer a month ago at Indiana State.
Yep.
Again, 10 rushes, 74 yards. Most of it came on one play, but 2 rushing touchdowns. Bryce is Bryce, 8 receptions, 131 and a touchdown. Zach Vanderpool standing out, redshirt freshman, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. Good day. Then Nathaniel Staling. One of these linebackers probably be left off of the first team all-conference. It better not be Staling. 3 tackles, 7 total, 1 tackle for loss.
Yeah, it's Zach Vanderpool. I'm telling you, if he's going to be a Valley newcomer, he's going to be on the Valley newcomer team. All 4 of these guys should be on the Valley ballots in some way. But I tell you what, if there was FCS fantasy football, I'd be drafting Bryce Lance number 1 overall.
I'd hope so. Him and Brungar, we almost an unstoppable duo.
That'd be
back-to-back. All right, around the FCS, we're not going to have as many. There's not as many games we're going to highlight, but just the ones that stood out. I did not make it to the end of Montana State UC Davis. I'm sorry, I was too tired to watch. Montana State dominant, 38-17. I think that's what we expected. The game was in Bozeman. Davis had no chance.
Davis is just the talent isn't there, and they're super injured. I mean, there's so many injuries on that team. Yeah. Montana State's rolling.
One we were watching really closely in the booth, at least, South Dakota, Southern Illinois. The Yotes likely end Southern Illinois' playoff dreams with a 53-51 in 5 overtimes. Or as Don Izzo calls it, 3 overtimes of pretend football, which was hilarious when he said that live. So what do we make of that one? That was a fun game to watch. Again, South Dakota saves their season. They're 8-4. They're in the clubhouse. They're in.
Yeah, we talked about it on the field pregame on Saturday. We're like, if this is a shootout, Southern Illinois is winning the game. Well, evidently we were wrong.
Well, the game was a pinball machine. Like we were talking, look at 5 minutes, like, oh, We got a lot of scoring going on.
And Coach Polasek said after the game against South Dakota when they won 51-13, he said this team's going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they were 2-3, and I was like, okay, he's just being the coach, the nice
Yeah.
guy. He was right.
We got to learn to stop doubting him after a while because he's dead on accurate about that. Another shocking result that we weren't surprised by the outcome. It was the way we got to the outcome that was surprising. Illinois State, they got up 35-0 against the Jackrabbits in Brookings. What in the heck is going on in Brookings right now? Because that was not a Jackrabbit performance on Saturday.
It might have been the worst first 10 minutes of a football game I've ever watched. Not saying a lot because I'm a Vikings fan. We've seen some bad first 10 minutes of games. But anyway, there's just no rhythm on either side of the ball. We talked about how good this defense was. Where are they?
They were like the worst rushing defense in the conference right now.
Chase Van Tol's out, but you got other guys. You got Colin McShane. You got Jalen Lee.
Now,
the offense is injured.
McShane got ejected in the first half of that game with a targeting call, so he wasn't out there. So they're down 2 healthy linebackers. They don't have a secondary. The defensive line's getting pushed around. This is not South
can't
Dakota
rotate
State football. No,
they
don't
can't
have the
rotate.
depth.
Yeah, the Bison. Next time you watch a Bison game, the same D line is not going to be in more than 2 plays. The Jackrabbits can't do that. It's back to when 2013 when they didn't have the depth and they had to roll. Colby Claiborne plays every snap.
Yep.
He has to.
He's a good player, too.
Yeah, he is.
East Tennessee, they end Western Carolina's playoff hopes, and likely Teron Dickens is Walter Payton hopes. 52-35, the Buccaneers go in and win it. ETSU blocked a punt in the second half to get some breathing room, and they never looked back after that. Western Carolina, they were floating around the bottom of our poll. Out. They're done.
You can't lose to East Tennessee. Not this year. And you can't give up a 50 burger. That's pathetic.
Yeah. And then final game I want to highlight. So Drake now controls the Pioneer because Presby, they defeat St. Thomas, who's coming in here 23-9 was the final. So Presby, again, they won the Mercer game. They had a couple head-scratching losses for the back half of the season. So neither one of these teams is going to win the Pioneer. Drake's going to end up getting the auto bid, but St. Thomas 9 points against Presbyterian. That doesn't yield well going into the Fargo Dome.
Yeah, you're gonna be. We'll talk about the match later, but you're gonna see a lot of backups this weekend.
I would expect because we're gonna. I think Polasek said on Tuesday they're gonna dress about the same amount of guys as last week. So about 85 guys are gonna dress.
Miles Mitchell's gonna get some touches.
I hope so. Maybe Trey Drake gets in the game. Maybe Preston Brown gets some quarterback reps. So looking at the conference slate or the conference standings, which is now basically all but set in stone. So North Dakota State, South Dakota are in the clubhouse. The Bison are 8-0, South Dakota 6-2. You can now put a line underneath South Dakota State. Those are teams that are out of playoff contention. SIU 6-5, 5 D1 wins, get out. Indiana State somehow beat South Dakota State, so they have the one conference win. UNI's one conference wins against Murray, who's at the bottom. Good job, Todd. You got that one at least. So we're down to South Dakota State, Youngstown, UND, Illinois State, South Dakota, and the Bison for the last playoff spots. Does South Dakota State get in? That's going to be the question going into Saturday night, especially if. Now, early word is that Chase Mason is practicing at 7-on-7 more than he has the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
If you had to bet me right now, is he going to play Saturday?
I don't think so. Yeah. And if he does, he's clearly not going to be 100% because he hasn't been practicing till this week. And is Chase Mason super injured as a pocket passer? Is he better than Jack Henry? I don't think so. I just don't see him playing. I don't see him winning this game. I think South Dakota State, insane to say, is going to finish 3-5 in conference play. If you would have told those fans 2 years ago when they were on that podium in Frisco, 2 years later they're going to miss the playoffs. Insane.
You probably got told Jimmy Rogers was going to leave. They might not have believed you either because he's a Jackrabbit lifer.
Yeah.
And now he's from Washington State and do at least a bowl team. So good job, Jimmy. At least you're doing that right out there.
You're going to get killed by JMU this weekend, but that's okay.
Probably, but that's all right.
Yep.
So, again, that's what you're down to in the conference. I mean, so... Again, we did our bracketology show yesterday, so go watch that. We'll wait for you. Okay.
Now that you're back.
Now that you're back, we'll finish this out. So Bison will be the one. South Dakota. Where do we have South Dakota? 15, I think, is where we had South Dakota at. UND. Click on the video to see where UND was finished out. Youngstown. Those 5 teams are in. Bison, USD, UND, Illinois State, Youngstown State. They're all in. I don't think that's any dispute. Unless UND loses to the Jacks. Then we're going to have some interesting questions come Sunday morning on who goes where. All right. One hot take we can cross off. Murray State, why? You're better than you were last year, and you went 0 in the league this year. Why? You're playing UNI. You might get one conference win. I thought you'd win 2.
Come on,
Why?
Jim Ogle.
God, Jimmy James Ogle, you disappoint me. So
They are better than they were, though, so you can't diss on this that
Yay.
much, but they just can't win. Why are they here?
shouldn't be here.
Bring
at
St.
all.
Thomas in and get rid of Murray.
How about hot takes actually mean anything? I got them this week. I'm going national and the game itself. Number one, I think the Cats beat the Grizz by 14. They're better. I mean, I think we both agree on this. They're just the better team.
Yes.
They're just flat out better. They're playing better. They look better. Montana should have lost to Eastern Washington 2 weeks ago. I've had enough of the Grizz. Why they still have a coach's poll vote is just beyond me. I'm just kind of done.
Yeah,
with them.
This needs to be a night game. Why is it not at 7 o'clock?
Apparently it's going to be snowy and rainy. It's not going to be a great atmosphere
Wow,
there, so
yeah.
we'll see what it looks like there come Saturday. Speaking of Saturday, UND, South Dakota State. I got UND by 17+. I think it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
UND is the best home team known to man, and they're playing a wounded Jackrabbit team.
Well,
It's going to get ugly quick, I think.
Yeah, look at the schedules. I mean, UND lost to the Bison barely, and the Bison killed South Dakota State. Given it was a long time ago, but nobody wins in the Alaris but the Bison, and sometimes when the South Dakota State's good, they win there. But this is not the same team.
Number 3, Cole Payton plays the first half. I will – okay. I'm going to be allowed to change this a little bit. I think he plays one series into the third quarter. I think I'm going to count that as correct if he plays one series into the third, because you want to get him going a little bit out of the locker room, yada, yada, yada. So I think he only plays the first half. If he plays a series in the third quarter, fine. You'll see Nathan Hayes. You'll see Trey Drake. You'll probably see Preston Brown, maybe Xander Smith. They want to dress all 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They're all going to play in some way, shape, or form. Pretty easy one, I think, in my mind. I think the Bison score 50. I feel pretty confident in that one. Presby, they only scored 9 points. And they're going to need a lot more than that to beat NDSU. They gave up 23 to Presby. Give me the Bison. Give me them big. And then I don't think they've eclipsed 600 yards of offense this year. They could likely reach that this weekend. I feel pretty confident. So those are my hot takes this week. They're a little lukewarm, I would say. They're not totally hot, but oh well. Moving forward. We were talking about bracketology. Just not going to go into that spiel again. The top 25 this week, we're not going to do our top 10s because they're the exact same. So whatever top 10s you see, that's what our top 25 is. So we agree on the top 10. Bison, Bobcats, Grizz, Tarleton, Lehigh, Tennessee Tech at 6, Harvard 7, UND at 8, Youngstown at 9. Yes, they should be ranked above Illinois State, and yes, they should be ranked in the top 10. And then Illinois State rounds it out at 10. We don't have the Jacks in this poll. You had them in at 25.
Yeah.
I didn't have them in at all. That's why Central Connecticut's in there at 25, because they're going to win a league and they're going to be in the postseason. Lafayette stays in there at 23. Dartmouth is in there at 22. South Dakota, they're going to probably stay at 18 there. So I don't know. Any big shockers, I would say? I wouldn't say so.
No, it's South Dakota. I wanted to move them up, but I can't because they lost to Lamar.
Yeah.
You can't move them up. And this is our last kind of bittersweet. It's our last poll of the year because the regular season's over.
Again, Craig Haley, give us votes.
Yeah,
Please.
please.
That's all I ask.
Look
at these polls for
Yeah.
everybody else. Give us 2 votes.
Look at ours.
We can share one. Who cares?
Yeah.
We'll take one. Doesn't matter. Okay. You love it, but you hate it. If your team is on this list, the Week 13 tiers. Tier 1.
It's the Juggernauts.
Yep.
The
It's
Bison.
North Dakota State.
They're 11-0. They've come close to losing a total of 1 time. Basically, you can say Youngstown twice, whatever. I don't see the Bison getting stopped at all. They're gonna go 16-0 and win the whole thing.
Oh, you heard it here first.
Yep.
Tier 2, winners heading to Nashville. They're going to play each other twice. I
Yes.
think that's a fair statement. Depending on the way the committee wants to rank these 2 teams when it's all said and done, they're going to play twice. But the winner of this game likely heading to Nashville.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be really disappointed if somebody gets dropped to 4 in this scenario. Not because the Bison would get lined up with them, because I want to see this as a semifinal
Yeah.
game. I want to see the Brawl of the Wild for a trip to Nashville. Make it happen, whether it's in Bozeman or Missoula. I do not care. Make it happen. Just please do it 2 and 3.
Tier 3, potentially fun quarterfinal
Yes.
opponents. We got the Crimson of Harvard. We got Monmouth, Rhodey, and Mercer.
Yeah, the quarterfinals is always an ugly one. You always got like Samford, Mercer, ETSU, Coastal Carolina back in the day was fun.
Yep.
These are teams that Bison would dominate, maybe have an ugly quarter here and there, but it would be like, oh, Harvard's coming to town,
Yeah,
Monmouth's
cool.
coming to town, cool. Rhode Island, Mercer, okay, whatever. We haven't seen Rhode Island, but it's at this point the semifinals are what we care about.
Your last tier, I'm renaming it. When does hockey start? When does basketball start? The loser of this game. Subtitle, headed to Cancun because South Dakota State basketball actually plays in Cancun over Thanksgiving weekend. You couldn't make this up. This is perfect that the Jacks are headed to Cancun over Thanksgiving anyway. So, again, loser of this game is Dunzo out and going to end a pretty disappointing season. For UND, would you call this season a disappointment if they don't make the playoffs? Because they were 5-7 last year. They play a lot better than they did under Bubba, but still, the same problems. Not the road problem. That's not an issue anymore. But it's really the issue of they can't close a game.
Yeah.
They lost to Kansas State, game they should have won. They blew it in Missoula. Just say it like it is. They lost a clunker to South Dakota they should not have lost. And the Bison, if they had any offense, we both know the Bison would have lost that night had they not been able to stop Kaminsky in that offense late, because they didn't do anything in that game.
Yeah, and we can agree UND finally took that step up.
Like, they did.
They'll actually win some conference games that they shouldn't lose. Like, they're not going to lose to Indiana State or Northern Iowa anymore. That's not going to happen. Now it's about taking that next step to beating the Jacks, the Coyotes. Like, they're going to go 1-2. Whoever wins this game will be 1-2 versus the Dakotas. Yeah. The loser is going to be 0-3,
which is unacceptable.
If the Jacks go 0-3 versus the Dakotas and 3-5 in conference play, you're not firing Dan Jackson, but the fans are going to be calling for him to be fired because
Jack Rabbit Illustrated to be PO'd.
Ooh.
Peaches and Cream is going to be livid if they miss the playoffs. Okay.
He'll find a way to make it sound like they should get in.
South Dakota State is going to make the playoffs. They're not. All right. A couple injuries. So the guys, again, like I said last week, clean bill of health. They're actually pretty well on injuries right now. They're doing pretty well. A couple guys that are – so Finn Diggins, he's going to dress for senior day. He might not play. Haven't seen him since, I believe, Southern Illinois with the injury in his leg. He hasn't played since then. He will dress Saturday. He will not play. You'll likely see him in the second round game, no matter against who that is. So reinforcements are coming at the tight end position, so it's not just Kessel, Williams, and Zenzen moving forward. They'll get Diggins back. 4 season-ending injuries that we need to talk about quickly. So 3 linebackers, Alex Elliott, Ray James, Austin Altepeter, all gone for the year with injury. That was to be expected. We already knew Ray James was going to be done. We knew Alex Elliott was going to be done. Altepeter had surgery last week, so he's done for the year. So linebacker depth hasn't been need to be tested because Kopp, Staling, Woolen, they've all been healthy, thank God.
Yep.
And then McLean Miller, he was a backup fullback, career-ending injury. Tim did not specify what the injury was, but his career is over. Maybe a head-neck thing. We don't know for sure, so we're not going to speculate any further than that. But his career is over, and he'll likely transfer back home to finish his college out. But so all that being said, pretty healthy going forward, which is what you're asking for towards the last stretch of the season.
Yeah, and the only positive that came out of all these linebackers getting hurt is that my man Peter Haugo got to play and he got a pick. So
Gavin Sell's playing a little more now.
Yeah, shout out to him. So I tell you what, these 3 linebackers that are supposedly out for the year, these could be your starters in 2027. Could be. Like these are guys that are going to be impact players down the road. All
right. St. Thomas, and we're going to get to the seniors first. I lied. We're going to go with those first. So 16 seniors will be honored on Saturday. Again, the rap sheet on them is just outstanding. 62-10 overall record, 27-6 in the conference, 16-2 playoff record, 3 conference titles, 2 national championships so far.
Yep.
So we got 16 seniors: Rajon Nelson, Owen Johnson, Bryce Lance, Barika Penu, Cole Payton, Antoine Booth, Chris Harris, Anthony Chudeme Alfaro, Ryan Jones, Logan Kopp, Fargo Davies' own Truman Wehrmeyer, Jackson Dutenheffer, Caden Chadwick, backup offensive lineman, Carson Williams, Finn Diggins, and Jack Liliano. Small class with a big impact.
Yeah, and this is the group that was getting recruited during COVID. Like, these signing day was on Zoom. I still remember Cole Payton getting signed, and he's on Zoom on his phone. It's like the weirdest thing ever. So the group's been through a lot. This isn't the 2013 group like that.
It's not 24 seniors, no.
Yeah, no. So that's a good thing. We got not a ton of seniors, and it's a great group. I mean, Cole Payton and Bryce Lance are going to go down in Bison history. So, and Rajon Nelson is going to break the record this weekend for games.
So 2 guys who probably could be draft picks, and Rajon Nelson, who was going to set a record that may never be broken.
Yeah.
This would be, a 74th game?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
If he didn't get hurt last year, this game could have gone over 80 if he wasn't careful.
Remember when 60 was a lot?
Or I think, was it Cordova Volsi played 65 games? And that was considered, whoa, that was a big number.
And that was because of COVID too. If we had before COVID, it was Christian Dudzik had the record at 61, I believe.
Well, he's your boss, so don't talk about him too bad. Okay, now on to the St. Thomas Tommies. Glenn Caruso is their head coach. He was a former assistant under Bob Babich at NDSU from 97 to 02. He's in his 17th season in St. Paul. with them. We're not going to the picks yet, guys. That's all right. He led St. Thomas to 2 Sag Bowl appearances while he was there. That's the D3 National Championship game.
Yeah.
164-30 overall record. Damn good coach.
Yeah, it's not exactly the greatest place to be because it's the conference they're in, but you're in the Minneapolis area. They should be able to get the guys that the Gophers and the Bison don't get.
Yeah, they'll be a Valley school sooner rather than later.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll talk about the offensive comparison. I'll leave this up for a little bit. So they're not bad offensively. 48 touchdowns. That's pretty good. Over almost 400 yards a game. 80% in the red zone. They have some numbers that are pretty eye-popping. Again, the Bison offense, we need to go through their stats again. We know how good this offense is. I mean, Bryce and Cole and everybody just playing so well on that side of the ball. Get 57 touchdowns, 40 points a game. They're just rolling through everybody on their schedule. So focusing on St. Thomas on offense, Andy Peters is the quarterback. With that be Michael Rosberg, the Shanley kid, but no, it's going to be Andy Peters. 150 of 231 passing, just over 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, 5 picks, pretty decent. Patrick Bowen's a leading rusher, 85 attempts, 377 yards, 4 touchdowns. My favorite is their leading receiver, Quentin Cobb Butler. He's not a receiver, he's an all-purpose guy. Just AP, that's how he's in the roster. More catches than Bryce Lance, 50 catches, 772 yards, 7 touchdowns. And the Pioneer, they can score.
Yeah. A fun fact here, so Rosberg went to Shanley. We obviously saw him play a ton.
Yep.
I played baseball with him for 1 summer, and when he committed to St. Thomas, like, oh, sweet, we'll get to see him play. Well, not the case. Maybe he'll get in a little bit.
No, I wrote an article previewing this game for the forum back in July, and I said Rosberg to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
Whoops, that article may never see the light of day. That's all right. Defensively, they're the number 2 defense of the Pioneer. Say what you want about, it's the Pioneer League. Well, look at the numbers. They're not all that bad. 23 touchdowns allowed, 17 points per game. That's pretty good. They allow only 120 yards per game defensively on the ground, 312 yards per game. None of this is terrible. 35% on 4th down, 190 first downs allowed. For the Pioneer, that's a solid defense. Yeah,
and you can say what you want about the Pioneer League, whatever. It's a good football conference. It's obviously not. There's no scholarships and stuff, but this is a good team. The Bison they're gonna overmatch them. We know this, but this is a good opponent.
But again, the problem is for St. Thomas, even when we scored 9 points against Presby, trying up with that column on the left there and all those stats, that's gonna be hard for them to match up with.
In the Valley.
But defensive players for St. Thomas, they have some guys that are pretty decent. Ryan Seaver, linebacker, 82 tackles, 9 TFLs. Caden Nelson, another one of their leading backers, 71 tackles, 4 TFLs. Then Nick Hand, defensive back, 62 tackles, leads the team in interceptions with 3. If he's matched up with Bryce Lance, I feel bad for him. But hey, you gotta play who's in front of you, right? And this is their top defensive back.
Well, the good news for him is Bryce Lance is probably gonna play 2 quarters on Saturday. So that's what as Bison fans, this is what we're so excited about. Is in these games, in blowouts, we get to see the.
Okay, we are. Not everybody else. We are. Nobody else is happy about playing St. Thomas.
We're happy because we get to see guys like Miles Mitchell. We get to see the future of the team. You think back to 2012, and you're like, oh, Carson Wentz is going in. This is the future quarterback. And then 3 years later, he's NFL draft pick. That's the fun of this. But obviously, the Facebook people, nothing can go right.
All right. It's that time. Final week of the picks.
Yep.
3-game lead belongs to this guy going into the last week of the season. 5 games. Sacramento State at UC Davis. That's basically a first-round playoff game. Sac State, UC Davis, both 7 wins. They both need an 8th Division I win. The game is in Davis. Illinois State trying to play for a top 8 seed possibly if they can beat SIU, so that's 24 against number 11. And then we got the third game. It's the game. Since 1875, Harvard and Yale have been going at it. The game's in the Yale Bowl with number 8 Harvard. And then this week 0 playoff game, South Dakota State at UND. Winner and loser is likely out. And then we got the Brawl of the Wild between Montana and Montana State. The game is at Washington Grizz this time around. So, first game up, Sacramento State at UC Davis. The Aggies are 4.5-point favorite. This is a win and in game for both of these teams, and I feel more confident in the home team, and that's UC Davis. I'm taking UC Davis.
Yeah, I can't pick Sacramento State with the hatred I have for that president at the moment, and UC Davis coming off a brutal loss in Bozeman. They'll pick it up. This will be a high-scoring game. Give me UC Davis.
All right, Southern Illinois, Illinois State. Illinois State ranked 11th. They're 4.5-point favorite. Our lines are according to FanDuel Sportsbook, so thanks, fellas, for that. I'm going to take Illinois State. I think this is a close one to pick because SIU, they're desperate, and the Redbirds are playing for that home field. They're playing for a possible top 8 seed, or probably home field for a first round, maybe the second round if they get lucky. 4.5-point favorite. I'm gonna take the team I feel better about, and that's Brock's Back's team. I'm taking Illinois State.
Yeah, being the betting man that I am, I'm taking the over in this game. But for the sake of the picks, I obviously need to gain ground somehow. It's pretty unlikely I win this anyway, but it's going to be a shootout. DJ Williams can put up points. Illinois State can put up points. I'll take the Salukis.
He's throwing a life preserver on the Salukis. Okay.
I mean, they should. I mean, they almost won last week, so
True, that's true. They're gonna make it a scare for them in that game. Harvard and Yale again. The game. 1875, one of the longest running rivalries in college football and college sports. Harvard's an 8.5-point favorite. You can make the debate. This is the biggest game in FCS history for Harvard. You can make the case.
you can.
Is they lock up a playoff spot with the win. If Yale wins, I think they may be able to win the league. I don't know for sure, but I think that's the case. Harvard, the line went up to 8.5 points at Yale in the Yale Bowl. Give me the Crimson.
Yeah, it's super fun for us because the bracketologists that we are, if Yale wins this game.
We had
oh
3
boy.
Ivy League teams in our bracket
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form. In the first 4
Yeah,
are in the bracket itself.
It's Dartmouth as a case, Yale as a case, if they win this game.
If.
Harvard's in no matter what. They're playing for a top 8 seed. It's kind of a toss-up game. I mean, obviously, Harvard's the favorites. They're the better team, but Harvard's coming off a really dramatic win against, I think, Penn. Was it?
Penn.
Yeah, but a game-winning 52-yard field goal. So
Yeah.
I'm just banking on a hangover in this game, and I'm going with Yale.
He's going with Yale, believe it or not. All right, South Dakota State, North Dakota. This is Week 0 playoff game, we're just going to call it, at the Alara Center. Again, UND is the greatest home team known to man. 9.5-point favorite. Chase Mason, again, picking up football activity, but he's unlikely to play. And again, UND, Alara Center, they win 98 out of 100 times they play in that building. I'm taking UND. I think they back into a playoff spot here. I'm taking UND.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's the Alara Center. I really don't care if Chase Mason plays or not. This team doesn't have enough talent right now.
True.
I'll roll with UND. I think they win this game pretty handily. I think they cover the spread too.
All right. Biggest game in the FCS this weekend. Montana State at Montana. Somehow, Montana State is a road favorite. They're a 1.5 favorite heading into this game. Now, just so we're clear, Ethan's going to pick against me in our which way I pick, just so we're clear.
Yep.
So I'm just going to take the team that's playing better, and that's Montana State. I think they're just playing better. Plus, no team in this series has won on the road since 2018. Fittingly, that was Montana State. They won on a goal line stand, a fumble recovery, the whole documentary about it if you want to watch it. I think they beat them at Wagrace. It's going to be a sloppy field day, too.
Yep.
I mean, rain, snow. It's going to be a really weird atmosphere there in Missoula. I'm taking Montana State. I feel better about them than I do Montana right now.
Yeah, I just, like you said, I'm going to pick against you. I'll go with Montana, and here's why. If you go back about 2 months in my hot takes, I said Montana's going 12-0. Whatever, I'll stick with it. I think somehow they pull it out in this game. If you go back 2 years, in 2023, Montana State, I think we both can agree, probably the better team in Montana.
Yeah.
They got their butts kicked in Missoula. It's just a tough it's like the Alara Center outdoors. Tough place to play. They got two great fan bases, a lot of hatred there. Just committee, please make this the 2 and 3, please, no matter what happens here.
In layman's terms, he's desperate.
Yeah.
Okay, just so we're clear. All right, so the scenario is this. If Ethan gets one of his 3 picks wrong against me, I win no matter what. That's how this works. So somehow, in the off chance that he gets all 3 of them right that differ from mine, we'll have a tiebreaker in the playoffs of some kind. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it that way. So, but again, we will be picking the whole bracket moving forward whenever that comes out. We'll break it down next week on the show, but none of that's going to count towards this unless we somehow end up tied. Okay. So, again, Bison, St. Thomas, regular season finale. It's senior day, 2:30 at the Fargo. Please show up. Just support these guys. I know they're going to probably play at the Dome 3 more times. Just come up and support the guys. There'll be some St. Thomas people there, I imagine.
Yeah.
It's their first trip here. They're probably going to be in the conference in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So may as well watch them now while you are at it. Again, 1660's got you on the radio. Bison game days at 10. Program note. Our show next week will be posted on Wednesday instead of Thursday. 1, for Thanksgiving. 2, Tim Polasek's going to join us next week on this show, so you better stay tuned for that.
Yep.
We'll be at the Dome with him for an interview, and we'll finish the show in here. So, extended show extended, I would say, for
Yeah.
that. So we're really excited to have Coach on the show because he watches and he
Yeah.
watches everything. So the fact he's watching this show is pretty impressive for us.
Yeah, if you would have told me when I was, 12 years old watching the Bison that I'd be interviewing, helping someone interview the coach, I would have thought you were crazy. This is gonna be a lot of fun. And also, Saturday night, if you're looking for a bracketology, we'll put it on the Twitter. I'll go through all the games, and because we already did our bracketology show, but this will be based on the games that have already happened. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun weekend. Sunday morning is gonna be fun seeing the bracket.
So it's gonna be fun to interview the head coach next week. We have
Yes.
about 15 minutes with him, so we're gonna maximize every second of that.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions that you would like us to ask, drop them in the comments. We may answer them. Who knows? But that'll do it for us, for Cash and Jack in the back, and for Ethan on the set. This is Grant Hubbard. This has been the Bison Overtime Show. Horns up and go Bison. We'll see you next week.